Here we go. Fucking angle all jacked up again, but we gonna roll with it. So I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna get started with today. I don't even know if I have a sermon prepared. But let's get into different things as I sit here with my hair done so lovely and my jamming headphones, because whenever anyone asks me what I personally do to manifest, this is what I do. I put on my fucking jamming headphones and I listen to my trance music and I fucking think about what I want and I say what I want. Hey Kima, what's up? Oh, what is up everyone? Hey. So this is how I personally manifest, which, whenever someone talks about a method or a technique to manifestation, I really, really want to emphasize that it does not matter. Love you, girl. It does not matter what you do, okay? Sometimes you don't even need a technique. All you need to do is just say, this is what I want, it's done, and the thing comes into your experience, okay? So the technique is up to the individual, because there's so many methods out there, right? There's like, we got whisper method, we got O method, we got list method, we get like, my dude, yo, you gonna confuse your fucking self, okay? Because it's like, oh, I need to write down a list of what I want. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, you don't need to do shit, okay? Now, I am going to tell you something. If anyone is curious about what I personally do to manifest, okay, this is what I do. I am a visualizer. I can be talking to someone just randomly and I'm already seeing images. Like, I do it naturally. It's who I am, okay? Nothing to do but everything to be. Fuck yeah. So what I personally do is I put on my fucking headphones. I'm manifesting right now, aren't I? Because that shit don't shut off. So I got my trance music on. Because that shit don't shut off. So I got my trance music on. It does not have to be trance music, but I just like trance music because trance music basically implies animus corpore abstractus, which basically translates to your mind is away from your body. It takes your mind elsewhere so you're not focused on the 3D, okay? So that's what works for me. But if you like any other type of music, by all means do that. Put on some good beats that you like. If you're a visualizer, think about the shit that you want to happen, okay? Get yourself nice and relaxed and just do it, okay? I was doing this before I even knew that conscious manifestation was a thing, and then I would see shit pop up in my reality. I'm like, oh snap, I envisioned that, so it came from me, right? Thank you for the gift. So that's what I personally do. It's not something that I force. I just think about it. I put on my music and then this shit just happens, okay? Now, if it's something that I notice that I have resistance to, that is when I do affirmations. So I isolate. What is the resistance? What is this saying about a story that I have that contradicts the thing that I want? Make an affirmation that directly contradicts that, and I go all in with that affirmation. I keep affirming and I don't look at the 3D. I do not look at the 3D, and this is what I will tell everyone. You don't need a million affirmations. You really don't. You just need one affirmation. Thank you, Sun Pluto, for the gift. All you need to do is choose what you want. Okay, now you set your fucking target here. You choose what you want. The rest of your day, how are you thinking? You don't even need to think about the thing again, but are you thinking against it? Then you're gonna monitor your thoughts. And to me, thank you for the gift. Woo, I love me some hand hearts. So you don't want to think against it. And that, in my opinion, where individuals that I have worked with from personal experience have seen the most movement, is if they stick to the thing and they're mindful of thoughts that might contradict it. That's it. So you don't even need to visualize. You don't need to even set up, oh, I'm going to robotically affirm for this or that. I mean, you can, and in some cases I would recommend it, but if you know what you want, just say it's done and don't think against it. That's more important than any O method or any whisper method or a list method. You know what I mean? It's really not that serious. Like, motherfuckers out here, they like, you know, I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but a lot of times in the manifestation community, it's like, I found this one technique, and it's like, there's no one technique. The thing is done. The techniques are there to just keep your mind in alignment with the thing that you want, but the technique is not making it manifest. The technique is keeping you focused on the target goal and not get distracted, okay? That's all it's doing. So yes, they work. So if you have a lot of resistance to something, let's say you're manifesting money and you have a built up story that you need to work hard for money and money doesn't grow on trees, whatever the case it is, right? Which a lot of motherfuckers seem to have this belief. But you want money out of nowhere. So you're going to say, money flows to me easily. I am the currency. I am always provided for. That's it. You don't need to say the money is going to come from here, it's going to come from there. You don't need to do all that. That's too complicated. My ass is fucking lazy. Okay? So if I have no resistance to the thing, I visualize it just for fun. And it doesn't feel like a chore. That's the key. And I notice, especially with visualizations, you don't want to make it a chore, because then you're not going to feel like doing it. Okay? So for visualizations, just because, you know, there's so many faculties of your imagination that are involved, I would suggest that you be in the mood for it and just visualize. If you're feeling like shit, affirmations. Okay, if you're feeling pleasant, visualization. That's just my opinion. That's what works for me. If you're anxious, if you're pissed, whatever, affirmations, affirmations, affirmations. You affirm the thing that you want and you keep going and you keep going. You say, fuck this shit. This is who I am. This is what I want. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done now. Hey, thank you for the roses. So if there's resistance, or if you feel like you're spiraling or something like that, then you will go in with the affirmations. But as far as like whisper method, O method, you know, it really doesn't matter. Okay. And what I personally would recommend with the O method, I'm gonna be dead ass. Okay. Just keeping it real. If you want to do the O method, I would not even think about anything or anyone other than you. At the point of release, if you know what I'm saying, I would just think about you, picture you, bring you into it. Because now if you're doing the old method, you're thinking about SP, in my opinion. Okay, so now you're like fucking getting off to them. You shouldn't be getting off to them. You should be getting off to you, which in turn is going to have them get off to you. So at the point of release, what I would suggest is just, you know, you think about yourself, or you look at pics of yourself and then you just say, right then, you know, I'm going to keep it a little PG, because, you know, I don't know what the fuck they fucking bullshit rules and regulations where you can and can't talk about. It's fucking stupid. Okay, because we're all 18 plus in the fucking chat. And a lot of us have been doing the old method before we turned 18, so it don't fucking matter anyway. But if you're doing the old method, you think about yourself, you keep the focus on yourself, then at the point of release, you say the affirmation. SP is so obsessed with me, they can't live without me. I have $20 million in my bank account. My health is perfect. Boom. That's what I'd recommend for that. But you don't need to do that. But if you are going to go with the O method, yes, Jasmine, exactly. The focus on yourself, because you fucking there like yanking one out for another motherfucker. Like, no, then you're putting the fucking prize as them. So you think about yourself to the build up, and then you just say the affirmation in that moment. That's what I'd recommend. But you don't even need to do that. Now, for the list method, there have been times I made out lists specifically of what I wanted, and I forgot about it, and the things actually came true. Okay, so I think with the list method, it can help you to clarify what you want, but then you don't want to sit there and be like, okay, you know, I have to memorize everything that's on the list. No, it's just there so you can get clarity. This is what I want. Boom, that's it. And I wouldn't, if you are going to make a list about something, I would just say keep it focused on what you want. So if you're manifesting a partner and you want them to be emotionally available, you're not going to say, I do not want an avoidant attachment style partner, right? Because that's saying what you don't want. So you would say, my partner is emotionally available always for me. That's what I'd recommend with the list method. Whisper method, all that other stuff, you know, it's really, You don't need to do that. You just think about what you want, and if there is a belief that contradicts that, you override it with the robotic affirmations. And you don't even need a million affirmations. I recommend one affirmation that entails the entirety of your desire as being done now, and you just go in. I promise you, you will not have to lift a finger. If you are meant to move, you will be guided to move. Everyone and everything will be moved to serve you, okay? Now, here's another thing, okay? So let's talk about beliefs, because I'm saying what I personally do to manifest. For me, nothing is off limits. You looking at, like, if Delulu was a meme, here it is. This is me, look. That's me, okay? Anything to me. $20 million cash in a fucking duffel bag delivered at my door out of thin air. To me, that's entirely, it's not off limits, okay? So keep in mind how open you are to receiving the thing, because, you know, and there's nothing wrong or right about, you know, the way that you think. But to me, I'm super, super delulu, and I'm just like, things can appear out of nowhere. And that's why things appear out of nowhere for me. That's why things seem to move as if by magic, because I believe in that. And if something is not magical, it's likely not going to be in my experience, okay? I rarely use logic. Even in like 3D shit, I just kind of wing it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to just do this, and then it works. I don't think about it, okay? Because that's not my strong point. Logic is not my strong point, which is why probably I'm good at manifesting, because I don't see things as, well, how's the $20 million going to get there? You just expect $20 million cash? Yeah, I fucking do, because I fucking said so. So however it's there, and it's there perfectly, and ain't no motherfucker bothering me about it, because it's my fucking money. I claim it as mine. I claim my $20 million cash in unmarked bills in a duffel bag, just left at my doorstep, left in front of my feet. Maybe it materializes out of thin air. I don't give a fuck. So if you are trying to control the how of the manifestation, you know, like I said in my live recently, hey, what's going on, everyone? You know, thank you for the shares and thank you for the gifts. If you are someone who wants to control how your manifestation gets there, you want to ask yourself this: do you want the experience of the how? Do you want, if you're manifesting an SP, do you want that whole courting situation where it's like you guys meet and then you go for a fucking stroll on the beach hand in hand, and then you know, you have a nice long engagement, right? If you want that experience, that's your manifestation. That's not controlling the how. So think about that. Now, if you just saying I'm married to SP and then they show up tomorrow with a fucking ring and it's instant, do you care? So ask yourself that, because sometimes there are hidden little things, like desires that someone wants, that are hidden in why they're trying to control the how. Okay, so let's say if someone wants more money, and the how, they're like, well, I want a promotion at work. Do you want a promotion at work so that you can prove to someone that you fucking are able to achieve that? Do you know what I mean? Or is it you don't care if the money comes from work or if it comes from out of thin air? So ask yourself that, because me, I don't give a fuck the how. I do give a fuck. I say it's perfect, peaceful, better than I expect, because this way we don't want no funny shenanigans up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We want everything perfect, peaceful, motherfucking magical. Because I live in Delulu land. I am a fucking permanent resident of Delulu land, and I'm okay with it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, everything is fucking sharding rainbows and roses because I fucking Lululand, and I'm okay with it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, everything is fucking sharding rainbows and roses because I fucking said so, bitch. So think about that. Think about why you want to control the how. I'm glad you love my videos. Woohoo! This is a good question. What were your biggest obstacles when you first started manifesting? Spirituality in general question. Hold on. All right, I am going to answer that. That was a great question. Thank you. Well, as some of you know, I came into the manifestation community from the spiritual community. So I wouldn't say that the spiritual community is necessarily like an obstacle, but there are a lot of limiting beliefs, such as when I first started with manifesting, I believed in divine timing. Like, my dude, no, I am time itself, motherfucker, and I am divine, so the time is now. Hello. So I believed in that. I also believe that, this or something better. The universe has something better in store for you. Just trust the process. Fuck you. Fuck you, trust the process. No. Okay? So yes, some of the limiting beliefs did come from the spiritual community. Now, that might not be for everyone, because some individuals find manifestation without going through the spiritual community, but that's just what I faced. Now, in terms of personal obstacles, what I had to do was decipher how come this thing manifested instantaneously and that thing didn't, right? And then I had to look, do I have any limiting beliefs or contradicting beliefs that oppose the thing that I'm manifesting? So that, for me, aside from like the spiritual jargon that motherfuckers just spew, I was like, well, I have to see like what's going on within me. And you know, this is gonna sound fucking cringe as fuck, but it really is a journey of self. Thank you so much for the rose. Because with manifesting, you really are going to discover things that you hold in yourself and things that you carry with you that you might not be aware of. But then when you're consciously trying to manifest the thing and it's not happening, that doesn't make sense, because the manifestation is already done and it's instant. There are limiting beliefs, even if it's just the concept of timing, okay? So yes, looking for patterns in yourself. Definitely, okay? So you really, in my opinion, discover a lot about yourself on the manifestation journey, just because you're like, okay, well, it's, and me, I've always been very self-reflective. Like I know myself very, very well. To me, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, I can see this, and I know the nuances of why I feel certain things. And the reason why I know why I feel a certain way and why I can, help someone to articulate what they're feeling is because I had no idea what feelings meant. Like, I was just like for real, I'm like, wait, so here's something that I'm sensing in my vessel, but what does this mean? And I had to think about it. I had to sit there and be like, okay, so if I'm anxious, why am I feeling anxious? Is it because I think I can't get this thing? Is this thing unattainable? Have I experienced something before? And then, you know, I had to go in and, you know, analyze why I was feeling about that particular thing. And then, you know, it either came back to like a societal construct or a story that I had programmed in my psyche. So those were like the biggest things for me. And then now at this point, like, honestly, just because from self-reflection, the things that I've manifested the most easily, I didn't think about. Okay, I did not think about. I was very intensely focused on the thing happening, that it was like a laser beam. Okay, so let me tell you, the pesky programs. Hell yeah, I agree. So how to really differentiate if it's something that you just you know, maybe it's a time issue, okay, is, do you have any beliefs in that area? Okay, and if you have any beliefs in this one area, is there a pattern, right? So the things that I looked at within myself in areas like, you know, I call them apps, whatever, like self-concept is the phone, and the apps are just like career, health, body image, relationships, friendships, whatever, right? So I had to, and this is why I talk about manifestation in that term, because, oh, another limiting belief I do want to say, I will get to that question in a second though, thank you. How to get rid of limiting beliefs if affirmations aren't working. So someone please remember that for me. But I do want to tell you that with the self-concept shit, when anyone on here is saying you need self-concept to manifest, no, you fucking don't. Because I can tell you my self-concept, like who I am, I've never had an issue with self-concept. You might not feel worthy of your desires. You might not feel like you deserve it, motherfucker, bitch. Fuck you mean I don't feel worthy? And like, you know that about yourself. So some people, they might not feel worthy to receive their desires. But in my case, I'm like, that's not what the fuck it is. So I found that in and of itself to be a limiting belief, because your self-concept is overall how you interact with everything. Are your days generally good? Do you generally get along with people? Are you content with your life, but maybe there's one area or two areas that you're like, okay, what is happening here, right? So your self-concept is just how you view yourself, right? And I've always viewed myself as, to me, like the fucking pimp. To me, okay? No one else needs to think that. I don't give a fuck. But me, I'm like, I'm the shit. To me. So if you have a self-concept like that, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm better than anyone, but to me, which I'm all there is, I'm like, I'm the shit. I fucking deserve this. Of course I do. So that's where I was confused. I'm like, but I don't feel unworthy. I don't feel like I don't deserve this. If anything, I deserve this. Like, bitch, like, what you mean? Okay. So that too is a limiting belief, because you can have a great self-concept, but if you have an area in your life that's shitty and you want to fix it, and you notice a repetitive thing that's going on, it's a program installed directly in that app, which is why you don't need self-concept. If you do need to work on self-concept, only you would know that, okay? But if it's just one area, then you don't need to work on self-concept. So let me get back to that question. So the question was, if affirmations are not working to get rid of a limiting belief, what do you do? Okay, I would say target that limiting belief. I still would recommend an affirmation, but if you are open to it, I would go into like a meditative state where you're comfortable, or even if you're just listening to regular music, and then just say, set the intention, I now release limiting belief. I am free of this burden. I live my life perfectly, peacefully, better than I expect, okay? And if you're a visualizer, you can envision that belief like floating around your fucking head, and you could pinpoint it and say, oh, here it goes, I now release you, and fucking throw it. If you're a visualizer. If you're not a visualizer, I would suggest doing a meditation or getting into a relaxed space with music. Identify what that belief is, call it as it is, and say, you do not serve me, you do not belong here, I release you with peace, a motherfucking man, and you keep doing that. I'd recommend releasing it, okay? Because sometimes even the act of that can help you get on board with that belief not being a part of you. And you don't ever want to claim something as yours that you do not want, ever, okay? You don't want the thing, that's not mine. If a doctor comes in and tells you you have this, that, and the third, no, I don't. What you talking about? No, the test results are fucking bullshit. Try again, okay? Even if someone else tries to tell you something, because there have been times motherfuckers tried to tell me shit about me, and I'm like, do you understand the amount of self-reflection I've done? You are saying that something is going on with me. I do not claim that. So whatever you say, that's on you. Maybe you claim that for yourself, but that's not me. And that's another thing also. If someone is saying something about you, okay, and it does not resonate, you're not gonna care. You're gonna fucking laugh at them. You're like, bitch, what are you talking about? So if a doctor comes in and you know you're perfectly healthy and they tell you some shit, likely you're not even gonna care, because you're not even in alignment with that thing. And why they told you that, why that popped up in your timeline, who the fuck knows? Be like, no, run your test again. That's false. I'm telling you. Okay, so now if someone is telling you something and you don't like it, and you get offended or you get scared, a part of you believes that that story is real. Because, like I say to individuals that I work with, right, there's a motherfucker calling a name on the street that's not yours. You're not going to turn around because that name don't belong to you. So he's like, you keep walking. They go in front of your face and they're like, yo, and they call you a fucking name. I don't know. And you're like, wrong person. Like, that's how you're going to be genuine. You're going to be genuinely confused in the 3D if something appears that you don't have resonance with, okay? Because if you had resonance with it, it struck a chord in you and you said, ooh. And you maybe recoiled in fear. You scrunched up. You got anxious. You're like, what? But if you truly know who you are in every facet of your being, there is nothing that anyone or anything on the outside can do to fucking shake you. Nothing. Oh, thank you for the heart. So, that's what I find, you know, when individuals are talking about manifestation and all this stuff. My zodiac, I'm an Aries sun. So the thing with manifesting is that when someone is talking about identity shifting or whatever the case, okay, who you are being in every moment is going to dictate your next now moment, which is going to start what I like to call like a path. Okay, it's like stepping stones, like that are just lighting up. It's like a walkway, it's like a pathway. So if you're manifesting SP and they tell you, I don't want nothing to do with you, okay, what do you choose to do with that information? That right there, your initial, like your knee-jerk sensation, oh, that's not true. Okay, whatever, that was a glitch. Oh no, they said they don't want to be with me. Oh, this is bullshit. Oh no, right? So that's how you can tell in any aspect of your life. If something presents itself to you and you do not give a shit, that means that you don't have resonance with that story. Okay? That's exactly what that means. Yes, life is self-fulfilling. I definitely agree with that, because you're creating your experience in every moment. So how could it not be? How do you deal with the lag in the 3D or waiting for it to physically arrive? Well, number one, I would suggest, ooh, thank you for the gifts on Pluto. Stop saying that there's a lag. That's another, in my opinion, limiting belief, because if creation is finished and every moment is now and that timeline already exists, where's the lag? Now, like I said in my other live stream, right, you're focused on the desire, okay? This is the amount of money I have in my bank account. Where is it? Now you put your focus elsewhere. So now you put your focus on the timeline, building that bridge of stepping stones to where is it, instead of this is the money in my bank account. So this is why I said, like, if you really want to manifest, okay? If you really, yes, this is going on YouTube, Opulence. If you really want to manifest, and you want to manifest like a fucking boss, you're going to ignore the 3D. You're going to laugh at it. Okay, I've literally laughed at the 3D in certain situations. I'm like, the fuck is it? Like, what even is this? Like, this is a joke? And the shit disappeared. Okay, you ever heard, I don't know who says it, but there's some fucking quote that says, fear knocked at the door, faith answered, and no one was there. That right there, because if a 3D circumstance shows up and you get shaken, you're agreeing to the idea that that circumstance is real, and you are the only agreement, because you are the law, right? And the law is neutral. So the 3D could show you something, but the law is neutral. Like, well, this circumstance means nothing. The law being neutral, okay, this means nothing, and it's gonna disappear. That's why, like, if you want to dissipate, hey Elena, what is up, girl? Thank you for joining. So if you want to dissipate anything, you don't focus on it, or you say, oh, whew, I'm so glad that's out of my life. I'm so glad that chapter's over. I'm so glad that, you know, that person is happier elsewhere. You just, whatever the fuck you don't want, you don't focus on it. Ooh, thank you for the roses. How to deal with circumstances and how to ignore the 3D. It's the same answer. You don't look at it. You're just like, okay. Like it's like you're tuned out. You're not checked in. Like you're in a trance in your mind, in the story that you want to play out. And yes, some might call it Delulu, but that if you want your shit really fast, you cannot look at the 3D and entertain something that you don't want. You really can't. Okay. Selective amnesia. Yeah, I like the way that sounds. How to regulate the nervous system. There are a lot of techniques, you know, that people talk about, which you could probably look at. A very popular one is EFT tapping, which you just kind of do this on like meridian points, I believe, in your body. that has never, I don't know, never resonated with me. There are a few others, you know what I mean? But I personally find the best nervous system regulation is to just take deep breaths until that fucking like tight sensation, that constricted sensation in your chest dissipates. Take deep breaths and then just affirm, I am safe. I am safe in my mind. I'm safe in my body. And you let the feeling pass, okay? And here's another thing that I recommend. Any emotions that come up for anyone, you don't want to pretend that they don't exist. Whatever is happening with your vessel, the emotions want to leave. So you let them leave. You don't judge them. You just say, this is the old story, leaving. And you keep your mind focused on what you want. You don't want to couple thoughts and emotions that you don't want. Okay, because then it's going to make it more serious to your fucking, because then it's going to make it more serious to your fucking ego. So if an emotion is coming up and you feel like you need to regulate your nervous system, the simplest thing for you to do is take a deep breath. Like a deep fucking breath until you feel better. And you could do that anywhere, okay? And then you just keep your mind. I am safe. I'm safe in my mind. I'm safe in my body. All is well. Everything is perfect. This is the old story, leaving. And you're going to see once those emotions pass that the situation is not going to seem so scary. You're just going to be like, okay, whatever, that happens, moving on. And pretty soon what this is doing is training. It's training your thoughts not to respond to an emotion, because remember, the thought is the command, the emotion follows. Okay? It's like, are you walking the dog or is the dog walking you? Okay, so the emotion follows the thought. The thought is the command. That's it. If the emotion, whatever's happening, okay, your feelings are valid. Don't let a motherfucker tell you the way you feel is not valid. It's valid. But at the same time, you're like, ooh, this is coming up from something that I once believed to be true. I am no longer that version, so I'm going to let this motherfucker on out. I'm going to let him out. And I'm going to keep my mind. I know who I am. I know what I want. I know that what I want is done. This is the old story, leaving. Okay? Because the thought is the command. And what you're doing is you're training your emotions to follow your thoughts. And this is why negative emotions can come up. Like a lot of times, you hear shit. Everything was fine, but then they just got a feeling something bad was going to happen. You know why? Because leading up to that moment, most likely, in like 99% of instances, they were thinking so negatively about a particular thing in that sector that, okay, I'm gonna give you an example, right? Let's say, I'm sure some of you could relate to this. So you're manifesting an SP, okay? Everything is fine. Everything is good. There's nothing going on. Nothing in the 3D that seems weird or whatever. You're manifesting the SP. All of a sudden, you had a bad feeling. What were you thinking in relationships previously, most dominantly? That something bad was going to happen, that relationships don't work out, that everyone is a fucking player, everyone is a fucking hoe. What were you thinking, right? It came from a thought. Emotions don't just surface. They don't. Negative emotions, okay? Because even if you are in a situation where your intuition wants you to leave, it is still not going to produce a negative emotion. Negative emotions are from ego stories that you have thought about long enough that it produced the emotion to just surface out of nowhere, because the thought is the command. So if you're manifesting an SP and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden you got a feeling something was going on, right? Yeah, and then what did you do? You looked to the 3D, you did that, you fucking checked and you found some shit that you didn't like, okay? Or maybe you didn't. But I can tell you why that happened, because it was built up. It was the undertone. It was the undertone. It was like I don't know what the fuck they call this shit, the undertow, right? In the fucking beach, okay? So consciously, right, the way you're chilling, oh yeah, everything is good, SP, but you had fucking 7 years of, shit story from your fucking toxic ex or whoever, right? So your thoughts were so in alignment with something must go wrong. And you never addressed that issue, right? You never said relationships are perfect, peaceful, magical, and easy for me. You just jumped into the next relationship, which was going well, most likely at first. And then because you never addressed the thought, because it's like the fucking poltergeist where they fucking remove the headstones, but they didn't take out the fucking bodies. You got the undertow now coming through. And it's all of those emotions that were built up from the thought, and they coagulated. So your ego is saying that, okay, here's a relationship, that's what happened in the other relationship, and now the ego is marrying the thoughts and emotions. So it's saying, oh, wait a second, this is how we think like that. Let's summon an emotion to make this motherfucker scared so that they do some shit in the 3D. But you never address the root issue. So that's why, because then you know, if someone is saying, oh, but I had a bad feeling about that, and then it happened. Yes, and I guarantee you it's because you had a shit story in that sector prior to that. Because if your intuition, I promise you on this, I've had a lot of experience with this, okay? And I can tell you, your intuition, let's say you're in a relationship, right? And it's going well, but then all of a sudden you just have a thought, get out. You're not going to feel anything with that thought, because if it's coming from your intuition, it's not going to process as a negative emotion. It's just going to process as neutral, because knowing is neutral, and it will not produce a negative emotion. It will not produce a heightened joyful emotion. It's just neutral, because it's in alignment. Because when you know your thoughts and your emotions are in congruence, they are functioning as one. They are happily married. They are functioning together. That's why you don't feel anything. And that's why likely you don't even know how you know something, because it's just... it's like a lightning bolt, okay? So you're in a relationship and you don't have any negative thoughts, but something tells you just get out, okay? You leave, you find out the next day, I don't know, FBI raided that motherfucker's house, okay? Right? So do you see what I'm saying? But in that moment, you knew, you were compelled, like, get out, move. Okay, and maybe it was something negative for the person you were with, but it didn't have anything to do with a story that you had, because it was neutral. So if you are meant to find something out about a person or situation, you will fucking find it out. And if it comes from a negative emotion, it's coming from a story that you have. But if it's coming from just something that you're just told and you don't feel any which way towards, that is the truth. Because the truth has no emotion. The truth just is. You cannot, the truth is knowing. It's just, that's what it is. So anytime that you're feeling a negative emotion, it came from a story from fucking somewhere, a belief that you have about that thing. But your intuition, even if there's something that might be perceived as negative to your egoistic mind, it will not ever process as a negative emotion. Because what does a negative emotion make you do? It makes you panic, right? So your intuition is coming from all that is. So if your intuition wants you to move, it's not going to be coming from all that is. So if your intuition wants you to move, it's not going to make you feel anyway. It's just going to give you the direct fucking message, do this. And you're going to do it. It's not going to try to scare you, because if you're scared, what you might freeze, you might fight, but you're still not doing what the intuition told you to do. That's why the intuition will still not doing what the intuition told you to do. That's why the intuition will be neutral. I just fucking scratched myself, but it's all good, okay, with my big old claws. So that's how you tell the difference. So if there's a negative story about anything, it's because you have a belief. If you're just guided to do something, that's coming from your intuition. Oh, thank you for the heart. So do I meditate often? Me personally, no. To me, what I'm doing right now is kind of like a meditation. If I'm showering, I'm like in a meditation, or if I'm cleaning or walking, or like I like going on my treadmill walks, and that to me is kind of like meditation. But meditation, you know, I find is very specific to the individual. So some individuals, like I had just mentioned about the releasing the old story meditation, all you have to do is just get in a calm state of mind. You don't even have to put on music or go, you know, do a fucking lotus position. You just be like, okay, like that's a meditative state, because it means your brain waves are calm. Okay, so the way that I practice meditation, I don't sit and fucking, you know, I try to do that with the fucking the mala beads. I would try to do that, and it never worked because my mind is always active. My mind is always active, and for me, just sitting and doing nothing, being bored, I'm like, oh my god, like motherfuckers just do that. Like I remember going into the so this to me is a meditation, but I'm multifaceted in that, where my brain likes a million things going on at once, and I'm okay with that. So if you're content with sitting in the quiet, then you could sit down and meditate and it'll work for you. But to me, the definition of meditation is specific. But I remember going into this fucking thing, and it was like a isolation chamber, or it was like a salt pod with like salt water, sensory deprivation yes, that. Okay. And I remember I went one time, and I was like, okay, you know, this sounds cool. I'll be floating in salt water in the darkness, which I was fine. But then it's like there was no music, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking boring. I was like, this is so boring, oh my god. And I know that totally defeated the purpose of it, but to me, for me, it's not natural to not have a million things going on at once. So if your mind works differently, because here's the thing with manifestation, why we're all individuals, all of us have different mindsets. Okay? Yes, you know it, right? The sensory deprivation. So for me, meditation is this. I'm relaxed. I'm in a calm state. You know what I mean? And I have my music on. I have the TV on. I have like there's things going on, but that's what is comfortable for me. That's why when I sleep, I have rain sounds, and I have maybe a sound bath with singing bowls. And I have, if I'm doing sleep tapes, I have my sleep tapes, because that's what I like. That's what's comfortable for me. I don't like quiet. I don't. Because I'm always I always have an inner dialogue, okay? And this is why, like I would overthink things so much. Like I would sit and nitpick, because if you're someone who your mind is just like always on, that's fine. But I would overthink things, and I'm like, okay, I have to find a way to not do this. So I was like, you know what? If I think something and it's negative, it's not real. That's it. It's done. Bye. Into the garbage you go. Okay, so that's what helped me with that. Thoughts on getting rid of old photos to allow yourself in the future more easily? Well, the photos, you know, they're subjective to your interpretation of them. If you believe that the old photos are hindering your progress, and it feels right for you to get rid of them, then do that. But I mean, they're just photos. You get to assign the meaning to them. I don't get rid of old photos. I mean, they're just there. Like, okay, who cares? Like, to me, they're meaningless, you know? Oh, look at a former version of me. That's great. I ain't that no more. Like, you know, I ain't deleting baby pictures or nothing because am I a baby? No, but I, you know, whatever. So it really just depends on your interpretation of what the photos are. Like, you know, you can just step into your new life at any moment. You don't need to physically do anything unless, like, you know, if you feel like doing like a spring cleaning in your place or whatever, like, okay, I want a new chapter, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff, and it feels like right for you, you're compelled to do that, then you can do that. But you don't need to do anything to manifest, because the manifestation is done. It's just like what is comfortable for you, and what's comfortable for you might not be comfortable for someone else, and vice versa. And that's okay. Everyone is different. So that's what I'm just saying. Shelly, what is up, girl? Hey, Lana, what is going on, girlfriend? Thank you all for joining. I forget what I was saying. Oh, you ditched SP and found someone better? Good. Hell yeah. And you manifested that. That is amazing. Congrats. So here's the thing, right? With SPs, because I know SP is a hot topic. For me, I do not manifest SPs. I don't. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, now I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't, but I don't manifest SPs. What I do, okay, because and this takes like mental, like you gotta really like go in, okay? For me, I don't manifest SPs. Every relationship that I have had in the past that has not worked out, what I did was say, the other motherfucker was me. to an extent, okay? Did I deserve that treatment? Did I consciously want that treatment? Did I want this or that to play out? No, but it played out because of an aspect of me. So I will go in and I will say, what did I like about this? What didn't I like about it? This is what I didn't like. What does it say about a belief I have? I change the belief. I recalibrate myself, and then I go a clean slate with someone else. But I also have a knowing, it's not even belief at this point, that every relationship I've had that didn't work out, I knew that the next individual would be better and more in alignment with me, right? Because it's coming from me. So if I'm looking at what didn't work out with this motherfucker, okay, I recalibrate myself, I change that. Someone else comes along. Okay, it didn't work out with that motherfucker. Now I go, well, that worked when I recalibrated this. Now I want to recalibrate that, so I'm going to do that. And then I go into a new version of me, and because I'm a different version of me that no longer has those beliefs that cause whatever shit to play out in the 3D, whether it's a belief about them or a societal program or a belief about relationships in general, I will pinpoint it, I will isolate it, I will recalibrate, and I'll say, okay, next. That's just me, okay? Because in my opinion, to me, the relationship is more important than the person, okay? Let me give you an example. Hey, Sierra, what is up? So, oh, Shelly, love you, girl. Yeah, the thing is, with me, if I attracted a situation that I didn't want, I don't want to go back there. You know what I mean? Like, for what? Okay, now depending on what happened, the instances, whatever, okay, you know, but if there was a situation that I didn't like, I'm just gonna move forward. I'm like, okay, what part of me attracted that? Let me recalibrate, let me move forward. And the next person is always better, okay? Because I've elevated, because I've changed myself to someone who does not have that specific belief, okay, or that thought process or whatever. I will always look at me, and that is what I really recommend, because the relationship to me, like, like, if you are manifesting a person and you're hell-bent on this person, you know, to each their own. I'm not saying you can't do it, but do you care more about being with that person or being in the relationship that you want? Because for me, I always cared more about the relationship than the motherfucker. I like for real, okay? I'm like, my perfect relationships looks like this, okay? So then I would tune myself to that. So if I'm meant to be with a specific person, like who I dealt with before, they are automatically going to meet me in that relationship, or they're not, and someone better will come along. But I also have the assumption that, you know, the next individual is always better, and it's always gotten better. Okay, I can take back since I was maybe like 17, okay? Like, I'm like, wow, it's like the evolution of fucking motherfuckers I dealt with. Like, you ever see the fucking where it's like an ape on all fours, and then it's turned into the Neanderthal, and then it turns into a human, and then it turns into like a being of light. That is how my fucking previous relationships look. It's been an evolvement. Why? Because I evolved. Okay? So if you care, why? Because I evolved. Okay? So if you care about the specific person and you love them, I'm not saying you can't manifest them, but if you want to manifest a specific person and you have a history with them, especially if you don't have a history with them, likely it's going to be easier because there's nothing that you can say. It's like they're neutral, they're a clean slate. But if you have history with a specific person, you cannot look at the old story. Okay, so what's more important to you? Is it the relationship or is it the person? So how to answer that is the person, right? However you're viewing them, and you have an idea of your ideal relationship, and you know that you see that person in the same ideal relationship with you as showing up perfectly, then go for it. But if you're just like, no, it's this person, it's this person, it's this person, do you care about the relationship, or you just care about being with that person? So if you and that person, if they were to show up tomorrow, right? How would that relationship look? okay, the relationship could be shitty because you never cared about what you wanted the relationship to look like. You were just focused on that person. Whereas me, I always, like, until like I don't even remember a time that I did not know what my perfect relationship looked like, because that's what I hold as a goal. The person, whoever, it's like the motherfucker will come included. You see what I'm saying? So if you're in the capacity where you have a history with the SP and you could see them being in your ideal of a relationship, then yes, go ahead. Okay? But you have to decide what works for you, because a lot of times with the specific people, you know, it tends to be just because that individual was the last person you dealt with in an intimate setting and they feel comfortable, even if the relationship was toxic. And ask yourself this might not be true for everyone, but are you just afraid of getting into something new because you don't want to go through the whole thing of getting to know someone again, right? So you stay with that because that was what was familiar. Okay, so are you scared of change? Okay, or do you really want this person and you're like, you know what, I see how I manifested whatever this happened, I had a hand in it too, but I see them as this version now and this is my ideal relationship. Can they be incongruent? Then yes. If not, because for me, I move fast. I move fucking fast, and I'm like, okay, that didn't work, next. That didn't work, next. Like, that's how I am. But not everyone is like that, and I'm not afraid of like new shit, right? Because like I know the relationship I want. The relationship to me is more important than the person. That's how I don't manifest specific people. I'm not saying that I can't. I'm not saying that you can't. I don't want to, because why? Like my motherfucking ass ain't gonna go in, revise this, revise that. I revise myself, and if that motherfucker is meant to join me in my perfect relationship, they're just gonna show up, and that's the same thing as anyone. So if you are manifesting a person, ask yourself this: why do you want them? Like, can you see them like with you in your ideal relationship? What does your ideal relationship look like? That's very important too, because if you just say you want this person, you focus on getting them back, and then the relationship turns out to be shit because you never specified what works and what doesn't work for you in a relationship, likely some shit is going to happen again. Okay? And I tell you from experience, okay? I can write, I mean, holy shit, relationships I've had, many, like this is why I can tell you about specific people. You might say they're a fucking cunt, they're a fucking asshole, whatever the fuck they did. You had a belief that allowed them to do that, and that's the truth. I'm not saying you deserved it, I'm not saying you wanted it, I'm not saying that it was a pleasant experience, but you had a belief that allowed them to behave that way. So if you don't recognize what that belief is in you, and if you don't pinpoint what does the ideal relationship look like to you, the same shit's gonna keep fucking happening. So I just fucking went on a mini sermon there, but you know, that's what it is with SPs. Like, you have to clarify, do you really love them? Do you really see them with you in your ideal version of a relationship? Or is it just that your ego is attached to them because they're the last intimacy you've known and you're just afraid to get into something new? That's the real fucking question. Hey, Sarah. That was right on time. Thank you. I'm good at drinking water, not messing up my lip gloss. Yeah, I've been doing that for years because I'm a diva. So I kind of learned the technique. Miss you too, Sarah. Hope all is well with you. You need a face and body to match to get a visual of your SP. Listen, if you... Aw, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Angel. So you need a face and body to match the SP. If you want to get a visual, I would say look at like random celebrities of like a body type that you find attractive, and I would maybe go with that, like especially if you're not super visual with that. Oh, that is, yes, you are all there is, Sarah. What do you think of affirming negative thoughts don't manifest? Oh God, I was actually gonna make a video on this. Thank you for that question. I was gonna make a video on this because I've heard this and I've seen this in comments, and to me, it doesn't make sense, okay? Because the law is neutral, okay? And yes, it responds to your command, but let's look at it. Negative thoughts don't manifest. Okay, cool. Negative thoughts don't manifest. Negative thoughts don't manifest. So now it's kind of like you're giving yourself permission to think like shit for the majority of the day, which is going to tip the scale to negative thoughts, and the law is neutral. So it's like, well, this is the dominant focus, so here we go. Oh, but negative thoughts don't manifest. So it's like, yeah, that might work a little bit, but if you keep doing that, and if your mind is mostly focused in a place of shit funk, which one is gonna win? Okay, to me it's about balance. Okay, so I look at everything, in terms of manifestation. If you not even, I know that Abraham Hicks says 51%, but for me, I'm like, no, 60%. Okay, 60% is going to get, you're going to start seeing things in 3D if you get that story. Okay, but then, negative thoughts don't manifest. You're going to think poorly because now you feel like you gave yourself permission to think negatively. So you think negatively for 10 hours, but then you say for 10 minutes, negative thoughts don't manifest. It's going to tip the scales. And I'm talking energetically. That's just what I've observed. So if you want to say negative thoughts don't manifest, that's fine. But you still, in my opinion, you would want to monitor your thoughts, because why the fuck would you even want to have negative thoughts? Like, you want to have negative thoughts? You want to be thinking that way? I mean, okay, to each their own. Was I talking for an hour? Holy shit, this puzzle piece. Oh my gosh. Okay. See, this is why I say time doesn't exist. Because whenever I get on here and start yapping, I talk for an hour and it feels like literally 2 minutes. So, how to stop negative thoughts? You had to switch them out for something more favorable. You say, let's say you're manifesting SP. When are they going to call me? When are they going to text me? How to flip that out? You could go right to the end and say they're in love with me, they're obsessed with me, they're by my side right now. If your ego is going to try to fight back with that, you're going to say, no matter what they're doing, I know that they're thinking about me right now. You would want to tone it up as much as you can for that specific thing. So if any negative thought comes up in any sector of your experience, all you would need to do, even more important than affirmations, in my opinion, you would just look at that thought as better. You would reframe it, and you would just tweak it to a way that it serves you. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, if you want to diminish the emotion behind the negative thought, then that's exactly what you do. You let it pass. You let the emotion out, but you say, this is the old story leaving. I am safe. I'm safe in my mind. I'm safe in my body. Everything is unfolded perfectly for me. And you just kind of let the emotion process out. You don't couple a thought with it. You were doing so well and even got some stuff, but the 3D has been triggering in the opposite. So you're triggered because you're perceiving it as the opposite, when in reality the 3D is neutral. So if the 3D is neutral, what story do you have that's saying it's the opposite, right? Or are you thinking, oh, this must not be working, I must be doing something wrong? So what is the thought behind that? Because if you were in alignment with the thing, the 3D could be showing you everything that looks chaotic and crazy, but you're just like, all right, whatever, that's what's happened. You're not tuned into it, I really love my fizzy water. You're not doing well in math. Just start saying you are doing well. I'm doing better than I expect in math. That is so true. The only thing that can trigger you is yourself, because there's a story there. It's like the same thing. If someone, like I said earlier, someone comes up to you, they're calling you a name that's not yours, you're not going to turn around. You're not, because it has no affiliation with you. So you're just like, okay, whatever, right? It's the same thing, a 3D circumstance. If it looks the opposite, you still have a story that implies that you don't think that the thing is done, or you're doing something wrong, or, you know, that's exactly what that is. Everything is a story. Literally, literally, figuratively, metaphorically, everything is a story, you know? I mean, there are no triggers. And even, like, let's say you practice, you know, maintaining your state of equilibrium, and you tip the energy to 60% thinking in your favor, and you're 40% like not, you're gonna see movement, and then that's what's gonna motivate you to keep it going and stick with it. Okay, so you don't want to view anything as a failure, even if it looks like a failure on the surface. You keep going. You keep fucking going. Like blind delusional decision. I have seen it work so many times without any type of evidence in the 3D, and it was like someone just decided that was the story, they went with it, and it happened. And I've seen that so many times. Oh, you love the 60% thinking. Yeah, because if you even get to 60% of thinking in your favor, then it's going to be easier for you to get to 70% and then 80%. And then you're going to be thinking in your favor most of the time, to the point where nothing in the 3D will bother you. Okay. It's just like, I think I told this on a live one time before, where there were like two monks and they were walking, and then some woman crossed their path and she was like rude to them. And then like 10 minutes later, they were still walking after they already, you know, the woman left. And the monk to the other monk was like, I can't believe how rude she was. And then the other monk was like, who? He's like, that lady, whatever. And the other monk was like, yeah, but you carried her with you and I let her go. So it's like, what are you carrying with you, right? Because that's really the story that's going to play out, something that you are carrying within you, because you bring yourself wherever the fuck you go. You bring yourself. And what I mean by that is you bring your identity, you bring your beliefs, you just here I am, okay? Like, what's going on? So that's why I said with self-concept, if, you know, you get along with most individuals, if most of your days are pleasant, if you're typically in a good mood, if you're feeling okay with your life and you're just content, you know, you're like, yeah, things are good. You don't need to work on self-concept, because you're bringing that with you, right? Like, you have a good attitude, okay, cool, like everything is fine. You're bringing that confidence with you. You're like, yeah, my life is good. Maybe there's an issue in this app, but you know what? It's fixable. Because you are bringing that. So your self-concept can spill out into other areas of your life if it's poor. Because if the phone in and of itself has shitty software, the apps, even if they're perfect, are not going to run. And this is why sometimes someone might have a really great money app, okay, or a relationship app or whatever, but their self-concept is so poor that they're able to manifest things very easily in the app sectors, but then they lose it because their overall outlook is that things don't work out for them. Things are difficult, things are hard, okay? You know, so really you don't need to work on self-concept to manifest. But if you are having just an overall, like if your overall 3D experience, no matter what perceived good things are going on in your reality, if you're just not comfortable and happy in your mind, that's where I'd recommend working on self-concept, because you bring that with you everywhere. So then, yes, the apps have the potentiality of being contaminated by the self-concept, because if the phone has a virus, the apps, yeah, they're there, they're good, but they're not going to run the way that they normally would. What if you were met with hostility and jealousy before you even knew about self-concept? That doesn't mean that it wasn't going on. It just means that you weren't consciously aware of self-concept. So that would likely still come from a story that you had going on about something. Because like before conscious manifestation comes into your line of vision, you're always doing it, and it's working the same way, right? It's working off of stories and assumptions and beliefs that you have. It's still working. So now that you're consciously aware of it, why do you think that those things occurred before you knew about self-concept? Because it's still coming from the story. It's not like, oh, well, my whole life up until I found about conscious manifestation, that was, I don't know, it was fucking working the whole time, okay? It really was. Yes. Exactly. Oh, that's a big one. Okay. If you're saying that you're not getting movement, you're the one that's saying that. You're declaring that. So what I recommend for that is to say, I see evidence all day, every day that I already have what I want. That's what I would go with that. Even if it's Delulu, what you're doing, you're still training your mind to look for evidence that you have the thing. Okay. And I think in like science or psychology, they call it the reticular activating system, which I don't even know what the hell that means, and I don't care. But basically, metaphorically, because I deal in metaphors, okay? I don't deal in logic because we don't do that here in Delulu land. So what that means is that if you are, like, let's say I'm carrying a belief, I'm a multimillionaire, right? My brain is already bred to seek out evidence that I'm a multimillionaire in the 3D, right? That's what it's looking for. And just like if someone is in a relationship and you have a concept that you always get cheated on, triggering. You have a concept of relationships that you always get cheated on or whatever. What are you doing? Prime example of what I just said, your brain is programmed to look for things that are familiar to you. It's going to seek that out. So if you think that you always get cheated on in a relationship, anything that motherfucker does, you're going to be like, what they up to, right? I got to go looking for some shit. Because you're trained to look for that. So now you're looking at all the evidence that they're cheating on you just because your brain is programmed to catch that. And because you're creating it by what your brain is already adhered to energetically, that is what has to play out for you in 3D time, okay, in the 3D time space reality. So if you're training yourself to say that I always see evidence that what I want is already here, then now you're training your brain to seek out those things like a fucking hound dog, and you're gonna just start seeing evidence of that. Because now that it's still reflecting back what you're dominantly looking for. And you're going to start to see that. So, what do I think about psychic predictions? Are they reflecting your thoughts? Yes, I would definitely say they are reflecting your thoughts. Because if you go to like a psychic advisor for anything, you're already like, you have all these beliefs within you, and they're just picking that up on you, and they're telling you this is what's going on, but it's still coming from you in your energy field. Now, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't go to psychics or tarot readers or whatever. I mean, if you're into that, you're into that, but it's still a reflection of you. And I've heard sometimes that people have gotten psychic readings where it was totally like a bunch of bullshit. Like they were like, what? Like, I don't agree with that. And you know what that signified to them? Okay, this is not the psychic for me. They're not in alignment with me. Or you know what? I'm not going to get a psychic reading again. But it still reflected them. Maybe they didn't believe that the psychic was legit. And so the psychic told them some bullshit because they already believe going into it that the psychic wasn't legit. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's just trying to manifest healing for a friend that broke their thigh bone. Would love tips. So you don't want to imagine your friend as having any issue. You want to imagine your friend as whole, healthy, and healed, because that's the way that you want them to show up. So they no longer have a broken thigh bone. They are already whole, healthy, and healed. And every time you talk to them, every time you see them, you notice visible improvement because they're already whole, healthy, and healed, okay? And you're going to affirm that you keep seeing evidence of how healed they are. Do you believe in angels and saints? I mean, do I believe in them? I don't know. I mean, to me, if someone is in resonance with like a saint or an angel, there are attributes that are typically associated with that entity. So those attributes would be something that one possesses themselves. Okay. So that it's still an aspect of you, it's still a reflection of you. But from the egoistic perspective, if someone is believing that an angel or a saint or something is going to save them, to me, they're saving themselves. They just place the power in saying that whoever it is saving them, right? They're personalizing it because they don't want to feel alone. And that's my opinion. If you're praying to a saint or a deity or whoever, it's like, because you're really praying to yourself, but you find resonance with the attributes of that saint or deity, and you're praying to yourself, but you're thinking that it's coming through them, but it's really you praying to you. So that's just kind of my opinion on that. Everything is a belief, okay? Religion is a belief. Even science is a belief, and medical things, they're a belief, okay? Like, all of that. If you don't believe in it, because you're the operant power and the law is the law and the law is neutral, it's not going to play out for you, okay? It really is not. Yeah, religion, in my opinion, is a belief. Well, it really is, because there's different religions out there. There's no one thing that is set in stone. How to ignore reality in medical situations. I would just keep saying that you're feeling better, or whoever it is feeling better and has noticeable improvement every day. Or you can just say whatever is whole, healthy, and healed. Even if you don't feel that way, maybe you have some physical discomfort, but you still want to say that, okay? And I'm not saying don't seek medical attention if it's like an absolute something that you're like, no, this is what I'm doing. I'm not saying don't do that, but still, if you do seek medical attention, you keep your thoughts in alignment with the most favorable thing about that condition. Icon Hayes, you agree, but you don't because of your personal mystical miraculous experiences and non-religious perspective. You can have miraculous mystical experiences from a non-religious perspective. I'm not sure what like someone else commented before that, but I agree with that too, because you are the miracle, right? So if you're saying that I'm only attracting miracles, you don't need to believe in religion, or you just that's a belief too, right? In miracles. So then you're going to experience miracles. In medical situations, you took alternative self-help. Yeah, I mean, if that was the right decision for you, then clearly it helped you, so that's amazing. Yes, the law of whatever you say works for you. You have so many conspiracy dreams lately and you don't believe in it. Again, your dreams are the same thing as any other manifestation. If you don't believe in them, if you're not showing them importance, then they are not going to be important. So you can assign whatever meaning you want to any dream. Dreams are random too. Yes, we all are miracles for real. I agree with that. Everything is a miracle. I mean, if someone doesn't believe in miracles, I'm kind of like, oh, why are you pessimistic? Like, the fuck? Oh, wow, you have a genetic condition your whole life. You've been revising your health and you didn't even know it. Good for you. Good for you. How to manifest money fast is you don't think about the timing that the money is not around. Everything is meaningless unless we give meaning to it. Exactly. Because it's still going off of stories. Everything is a story. There's a story that I'm here on TikTok. If I didn't believe in it, would I really be here though? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it really is a mind fuck. What do I think about karma? That's another belief system. That's another belief system. It's the same thing. People, and I know that there's like a religious tone with karma in Hinduism, and that's a belief system too. But when most motherfuckers talk about karma, you're gonna get your karma. It's like That's some ego driven, like you just, someone wronged you as you perceived, and then now you want to get back at them, which, I mean, that's fine, but you know, that's a belief system too. I mean, you know, the whole thing with like the spirituality and the manifestation is like, spirituality does have a lot of limiting beliefs, even though it's not technically a religion. But the belief that there's soulmates and twin flames and karma and karmic relationships, it's just, it's a lot. It's really a lot because, you know, I don't even know like why this stuff comes up on my FYP, because I don't even click at these videos, I guess because I look at the comments. But whenever I see someone saying twin flame reunion, press 1111, type 1111 to claim, I'm like, oh my God. No. Stop with that. Come on. Like, who is, like, really? Because to me, that's just like, are you okay? Twin flame reunion, type 1111 to claim. All right, so maybe it worked for someone because they believed it would. But a lot for someone because they believed it would. But a lot of things in the spiritual community, especially about like relationships, I find are like, you're reeling in motherfuckers who are desperate. Now, I'm not saying, you know, whoever it is desperate because they can't get anyone, or, you know, that they're not valuable, because they are, but they're desperate because they're so entrenched in obsession with another person that they're looking for anything. And a lot of that, not all, but a lot of that in the spiritual community, where they're saying twin flame reunion and soulmate and karmic connection, and oh my God, like, are y'all okay? Y'all wild. No, I'm serious. In fact, you are not okay typing claim and using sound. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like with those things, and then I see in some comments they were like, oh, claim without sounds. Like what? Like that to me, in my opinion, is more delusional than just saying, okay, I want to be with this motherfucker. We're already together in our perfect relationship. That's it. Like you going out looking to do love spells on someone, and like, I'm not saying love spells don't work. They're gonna work if you believe in them, because it's just another belief in the manifestation. But like, my dude, okay, this is why dating advice, if you're manifesting a specific person, I would not recommend either. That's just my opinion. But I wouldn't even recommend like spiritual advice about twin flame advisor and soulmate and all this fucking bullshit, because like, what the hell is that? Like, a lot of that is detrimental. Yes, I agree. I mean, it's all coming from you. It's all coming from everyone, you know? It's just, man, if you believe that someone is a twin flame and there has to be a separation and you guys are meant to be together and it's supposed to be painful, what do you think is going to play out? I mean, come on, you know? Do I ignore astrology things too? For the most part, yes. Like transits and, oh, it's the new moon and whatever. I mean, okay, like I'll look at it for entertainment, but the astrology that I'm into is just like personality, you know, and I look at it for fun. Okay, I look at it for fun. I don't look at like transits or anything. I just like, oh, what sign is this person? What's their moon? Like, and it's just, it's like a hobby. But yes, it is a belief system. That's why I don't talk about saying, you know, if your SP is this sign, do this. If they're that sign, do that. No, because not everyone believes in astrology. So if you believe that because your SP is a sign and you're a certain sign, that it's going or not going to work out, that's still your belief. That's still your belief. Twin flame soulmate work? Oh my God. Like, yeah, that's so crazy to me, because it's like they kind of like reel motherfuckers in to get entrenched in the idea of another person. Like, what? So what that is doing is putting that other motherfucker on the pedestal. You know what I mean? And obviously we don't do that in the manifesting community. And even in the manifesting community, it's like there's certain things like I manifested my SP by doing this, and it happened in like 2 seconds. And then someone else is going to compare, trying to do the same technique for SP, and it didn't work. Because you're not them. You're not the other person. So whatever they have going on with them, that's them. It's not you. So with manifestation, it all comes back to you. I don't know what everyone's belief is about relationships or that person. You have to know that. And then you have to decide from there, because what works for someone might not work for you. And that's the truth. Timing for person A might not be timing for person Q. It does not matter. It's just like witchcraft and psychics, entertainment. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it entertainment. I mean, it's just another belief. Like if you believe in witchcraft and you're conducting a ritual and you're saying, this is my intention, it's likely going to work because you believe in it. If you believe that a psychic is going to have accurate information that's going to help you, then it happened because you believe in it, you know? I do believe in like psychic ability though, which is, in my opinion, different from manifestation. I spoke about it more in depth on my other live, but hey Shelly, what is up? So with psychic ability, I believe that everyone has it. They're just not tapped into it, or they call things coincidences or whatever. But it really, you know, if you are going to a psychic for a reading, you already are going into it with either a belief that they're going to be wrong or a belief that they're going to be right. And you're going into it with your beliefs about the situation that you're asking about. So the psychic is picking up on you, but there's still a reflection of you. So in that faculty, yes, they might offer you valuable information. Maybe you want a confirmation on something, but it's still a reflection of you. I'm glad you're back, Shelly. Do you have to start doing stuff in the real world, or can you just assume it's already done? You don't need to do anything in the 3D. It's the law of assumption. It's not the law of action. You know, like you assume the thing, and if you are guided to make a move in the 3D, it's just gonna flow through. You're not gonna have to think about it. Like literally, that's what the inspired action is. You know, and I've experienced inspired action many times, where I'm just like, I was compelled to do something, but in the moment while I was doing it, I wasn't even thinking about the thing I was manifesting. I was just in the moment like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then I'm like, oh shit, is because of the manifestation. Do it in your mind and reality will configure. Exactly, Shelly. You can barely meditate. You don't need to meditate. Oh, you love my lashes. Thank you. I got them done a few days ago. They're still kind of fresh. How did you get into law of assumption? How long has it been? Oh, I mean, heavily into it, maybe like 3 years ago, where I started like implementing it. But I always, you know, I was kind of into it for a little more than then. I got started with the Abraham Hicks because I'd come there from the spiritual community. I don't even know how I fucking found Abraham Hicks. But I wasn't really implementing it. Like I understood it, but like that's why in the video I just posted, I'm like, you guys understand this, but you're not implementing it. So when I started really practicing it, maybe like a little less than 3 years ago, but I always knew about it, but I just wasn't doing it, you know? What does it mean to really implement it? Is when you, okay, I'll give you an example, right? Someone who is you know, a novice and, you know, they just found Abraham Hicks or whoever. They're like, oh, wow, I can create whatever I want. Okay, yeah, that's cool, no problem. I'm going to create this. But then the rest of the time they're thinking against it. You're not implementing it, okay? So someone, anyone, no matter what they're, you know, since we're always doing it, but if you're consciously aware that you're doing it, how to implement it is you have to remain persistent in the story that the thing is already done, not just, oh, I can create my reality. Why isn't it here? How come it's not happening? I must be doing something wrong. That's not implementing it. Implementing it is picking the story that you want, going in on that story. That's it. You don't look at other thoughts. You don't look at the 3D. You don't look at emotions. You feel the emotions if they need to be felt and processed out, but you go with the fucking story that you want. Oh, this is what's happening in the 3D. Okay, cool. Oh, that happened in the 3D. All right, no problem. Oh, here's a thought that I don't like. It means nothing. Whoa, got an emotion that I don't much care for. I'm going to let this bad boy pass through, and I'm going to just chill because I'm safe. Everything is perfect, and everything is always working out perfectly better than I expect. That's how you implement it. You implement it the most if the 3D is showing you cray shit. That's when you implement it the most, because that in where it seems like she's going the opposite, you face it and you're like, nah bitch, not today. And you go with the new story. So you can implement it throughout the day, but you really implement it when something shows up that is like, oh shit. Okay, and you still stick to the story. And then after that, final boss, baby, that shit ain't coming up no more. And if it does, you go fucking laugh at it. Okay, I promise you, you'll fucking yes, marry that new story. What about when the 3D gives an outcome you didn't want, that didn't align with your beliefs and manifestations? You're assigning the meaning that the 3D didn't give you what you want. So now you took your focus away from the story and you're looking at what is in the 3D. And I know how that sounds, but you have to be delulu with this way of thinking. Okay, so someone's manifesting money. They just get a bill in the mail. Oh no, what do? I have money. It doesn't fucking matter. Oh, but the 3D says, I don't give a fuck what the 3D says. I have money. It doesn't fucking matter. And you keep, and this, you know, depending on what's happening in the 3D, it might be easier in some scenarios than others. But that's what you do. You don't look at the 3D as being unfavorable. You say, okay, cool, stick to the story. It doesn't matter. You stick to the story in your mind. Hey, Chloe. Oh, you've been watching my YouTube vid? Thank you for tuning in. Your ego will protect you at first because it is designed that way. Say positive things. I agree, yes. Observe and remain faithful to the new story. I authored it, stands. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, like to implement it is to really just choose the narrative that you want and do not get swayed. Okay, the axle moveth not, attain thou that. You don't sway. You just like, okay, okay, cool. It's like you smile and nod. Oh, the 3D said this. Okay, no problem. Because you don't know, and likely you're not going to know what's unfolding until after the thing happened. And there's a whole lot of shit for everyone in here. I guarantee you, whatever the fuck it is that you want, it's already unfolding. It's unfolding as you're watching this. Okay, now you might not find out the details until after it happens in the 3D, but it's always unfolding. And especially if you're sticking to that narrative, it's unfolding like, it's like rapid. Yes, Shelly, put a good spin on everything, definitely. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that I was able to give you some revelations. What if you're wrong about what you want? How can you be wrong? Who's the judgment of that? You're the only judgment, so you're judging yourself saying you're wrong. There are no morals, there are no ethics. You want what you want, period. That's it. There's no... Here's another thing, guys. Like when someone is like, that they feel guilty for manifesting money because other people don't have money. Why do you feel guilty? It's your universe. In their universe, whatever is going on with them is going on with them. Or someone will be like, well, I don't know if it's ethical because SP is married. And, who said what ethics are in that context? Is it societal? Is it something that you heard? Is that thought coming from you? That's where I would go, because there are no ethics. So you're looking at a societal construct, or you're looking at a belief that you have. And there are no ethics and there are no morals. However that may sound, because if you are the law and you're the only judgment, okay, and you want something, but then a part of you feels guilt or feels like it's wrong, or society, what are they going to think, or whatever. You're projecting that into the thing that you want. So you have to stop thinking something is right or wrong, because the law is the law and the law is neutral. Hell yeah, Shelly, that's facts. Oh, you manifested your SP after listening to the sermon, Isaiah 45:5. Fuck yeah. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. I even forgot what that verse was, Isaiah 45:5. I know it was always quoted on there. Woo. You even got the ex, another lover. That, see, this shit works, you know. Also, open relationships are a thing. Yeah, if people want an open relationship, that is what they want. It's not right, it's not wrong. If that's what you enjoy, okay? You want to go swinging, okay? That's up to you. There's no one else that's judging you. So, I mean, if Mima and Peepaw are saying one thing, but you don't agree with it, you don't need to listen to what they say. I am the Lord and there is none else. Okay. Thank you, Chloe, for clarifying that. Haha. Yes, you had to keep to the story. The story is the most important thing. Like, it really does not matter what is happening in the 3D. And there are no morals, there are no ethics. You want what you want because for whatever reason it's going to serve you, right? So, okay, that's it. You don't even need to tell anyone. And don't let a motherfucker judge you if you want a particular thing, because who are they? So it's like, oh, you should, that's wrong. Fuck you then, because you're not me. You're not God in my reality. I am. The only thing that can look at ethics and morals is the ego. Do you see what I'm saying? But if the law is law and law is neutral and you are not projecting judgment onto why you want that thing, then the thing is going to come through. But if you're projecting a judgment on it, sometimes you could get the desire, but it'll be in some weird, twisted, convoluted way because you orchestrate it. Well, I want this, but I think it's wrong. Okay, so yeah, you got it, but under some weird circumstance, okay? So you don't want to judge your desires. You just want them. That's it, period. Are demons real? Do you believe that they're real? Because that's, again, that's another, it's just like saints, it's like angels, it's deities. Do you believe that they're real? If you believe in them, then yeah, they're gonna show as being real in your 3D. If you don't believe in them, then you're not gonna have anything going on in terms of demons. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Wanting is enough of a reason to have it. Exactly. Amen to that. You want the thing. And you know, this is so interesting. You're welcome, Essie. This is so interesting because everyone wants different things, right? Like, let's talk again with the relationships, okay? Some individuals want a monogamous relationship where it's just the two of them and that's what they want. Cool. Some motherfuckers, they want to have a person and then they want to have, you know, maybe swingers parties, or they want to have like a throuple or whatever. Are either of these motherfuckers right or wrong? The one who wants monogamy compared to the one who wants polyamory? No. It's just, what do you want in your ideal relationship? It's for you. What is for someone might not be for someone else, and that's okay. So if someone is judging you for something that you want, they're not God in your reality, so they could go kick rocks. They're not God in your reality, so they could go kick rocks. The art of being unbothered. I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because, like, no, ain't no motherfucker have time to be fucking bothered by the 3D. You want that, got it. Now you want a filet mignon on the side. Hell yeah. Have a full 7-course meal. Oh my God. Yes, circumstances don't matter. They don't. The circumstances matter if you say they matter and you're focusing on them. So that's entirely again, you're dictating, you know. Do you ever think about the timeline? What timeline? I'm not, like, timelines in general, or a timeline for a perfect manifestation that I want and how it's going to unfold. I mean, if you think about a timeline, the timeline already exists, but if you're talking about the path, no, I don't think about the path, when it's going to happen. My thing is, it's done now. 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 Okay. If you're thinking about when it's going to happen and you're looking for signs and synchronicities, you're placing your focus on the wrong thing. So that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? How do you know that it's done now? You say it's done now, and you don't contradict that thing. And even if you don't know it like a full resonance in your vessel, and you're still kind of unsure, if you're a little still in the believing, you're gonna say, I know it anyway. I know it's done. It's done now. It's done perfectly. That's it. That's the command. We don't. Oh, thank you for the hug heart. I love those. It's done now. It's done perfectly. Period. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? You know yourself more than, yeah, you know yourself better than anyone. So you have to just go with what is in resonance with you. You know what you want. You know why you want it. If you just want to manifest it for fun, that's fine too, you know. Ooh, Hebrews 11:1, assurance of things hoped for without evidence of seeing it. Is that for the KJV? I don't think I'm familiar with that one, but... Oh, thank you, Shelly. I've manifested a lot of crazy things. The one that I think stands out the most happened before I even knew that conscious manifestation was a thing. I know I've told this story before, but it's basically where I really had to pee, and my friend was driving, and we were in the car, and my friend didn't want to stop the car. We were driving over the G-Dub bridge. I kept saying, I'm like, car needs to stop, I need to pee. I was just saying this in my mind. I was like, car needs to stop, I need to pee. Car needs to stop, I need to pee. And I wasn't even thinking. I was not comfortable. Okay, I just drank me a big Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So, okay. So anyway, car needs to stop, I need to pee. Car needs to stop, I need to pee. Car needs to stop, I need to pee. I was just saying it like laser, and plus it was all in my vessel, because like literally I was uncomfortable. And then we're getting off the fucking G-Dub, and the car starts like driving funny, like is like rocking, shaking. And then there's traffic, because whatever is coming off the G-Dub at fucking rush hour. So it's like kind of in front of Yankee Stadium. And then the traffic was slow, and then a car rolls down the window and tells my friend, you got a flat tire, blah, blah, blah. So my friend ends up having to pull over on the side of the highway. I will never forget it. It was Yankee Stadium lit up in the fucking darkness. And there was like the side road. And I was like, well, the car needed to stop so I could pee, so I'm gonna go pee. My friend just kept that the whole rest of the ride, like after, the tire was fixed and everything. My friend was looking at me like, because it was just so weird the way that happened, and it took less than like fucking 20 minutes. I was just laser focused, like every essence of my being, I just kept going in. I didn't believe it, I did not believe it. It was just focus, like mental focus. And then it happened like boom, and I was like, oh shit. And this is before I knew what conscious manifestation was. So that to me is probably because I actually moved physical matter in 20 minutes to get what I wanted. So I was like, okay. Oh shit, Shelly, electricity went out in your area last night and your house wasn't affected. That's right. Ooh, I love these sunglasses. Thank you. Oh, you're from the Netherlands. Oh, thank you for being here. What time is it in the Netherlands now? Is it true our deepest Is it true our deepest desires mean our higher selves already have it, or we have yet to be in the 3D? That is a good question. I love that question. Thank you. I was actually going to make a video kind of explaining that. In my opinion, and there's no right or wrong answer, but in my opinion, because you asked, our deepest desires are already given to us in the ethereal realm. We already have it. So the desire, it just is, right? There's no anything. It just, here it is. But your higher self, the way it communicates to you, to your avatar, to get you to live out that desire that it's already experiencing in the ethers, is through a thought. Okay, that's how the God, source, universe, higher self, whatever, communicates. It has to give it to you so you can compute. So all of a sudden you want to go to Tahiti, and you want a motherfucker to pay for you, and you're just like, okay, so that desire, because your higher self is already in Tahiti, okay? And then you get a thought, I'm gonna go to Tahiti. So your higher self wouldn't have given you that desire if it didn't already live it out. But then you compute it into desire if it didn't already live it out. But then you compute it into a thought, and then you're now like, oh, I want to go to Tahiti. So now you're consciously aware of it. So you either just declare it once. I went to Tahiti and I got the whole trip comped, and I stayed at the best hotel there, or whatever. I flew first class. Cool. You either leave it alone, or if you have resistance to that, then that's where you would do techniques like visualizations or affirmations, because you have a belief that contradicts it. But that's basically how it works. It's already done, but it's computed through a thought, and that's how you know what desire you want, because your higher self already has it. Hey, from Sweden, holla. Let me go back in the chat here, because... All right. Is the chat moving? Mark 11:24, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe you have received it. It's yours. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that's what also, like with prayer, that a lot of individuals, especially in religion, in my opinion, tend to get like janky about, is because the prayer is, the desire is born, and you're like, okay, I have this, right? You're not asking. The prayer is like a command. It's it's, when religions talk about prayer, at least the religion that I was attempted to be indoctrinated, the Roman Catholic Church, it was, you have to ask for it. But if you're asking, can I have this, and you are the Lord and there is none else, and you're in a place of doubt that you can even have it. So the prayer is really the command, saying, oh, this is what I want, it's already here, it's done, and then that shit appears. Prayer is like the knowing you'll receive. That's how I see it. Yeah. Because you wouldn't, that's why everyone has different desires. Like I gave the example with the monogamous couple and the polyamorous couple, right? You want different things. Someone might be content with $10 million. Someone else might be content with $20 million. They're okay. Some individuals are not wanting millions. They just want a comfortable life. They want to live, off grid or something, right? And that's what they want. Is that what I want? No, but there's no right or wrong. It's just, your desire is for you. And I know someone is going to ask. Someone is going to say, what if someone else is manifesting your SP? Who wins? Because I've gotten asked that before. You are the only one that is dictating if someone else can have your SP. There is no competition. There's just you. I am the Lord and there is none else. What does that entail? That there's other motherfuckers? No. There's no other motherfucker. There's just you. So I am the Lord and there is none else. And then you say, what if someone else is manifesting SP? Now you manifested a motherfucker manifesting SP. What if SP is manifesting another motherfucker while I'm manifesting SP? You just gave SP the means to manifest another motherfucker in your reality, but they cannot. So, that's something also. Like, there's no competition. There's just you. So why did you place competition there when you are the only one? That comes from a story, I guarantee you. What What if you want to manifest SP who's been unalive? I mean, if that's something that's important to you, it would be the same as any other manifestation. If you want them to be alive in your reality, then go with that story. Infinite realities, infinite possibilities. So in your reality, that SP is yours, and in their reality. Yeah, because the version of SP that is with you is the one that you're tuned into, right? So even if there's a whole shit ton of different things going on, right? That your ego is looking for. If you say, you know what, I'm aligned with the version of SP, there's no competition, there's just me, it's just the two of us. You collapse that reality by your focus on it, okay? You collapse it. You collapse the wave. It condenses because you're laser focused. Just like when I was saying car needs to stop, I need to pee. I collapsed that timeline really fucking fast, okay? Again, but also with that, I didn't have a backstory that contradicted it, okay? It was something that literally came up in the moment and I just did it. Okay, now this is why sometimes, because someone might say, oh, but what if I'm affirming with passion and blah, 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 I didn't see instant movement. Do you have a backstory that directly contradicts the thing you're manifesting? Because if you do, then you're likely not going to see movement as easily as someone who doesn't have a backstory to that thing, because it's like there's like different beliefs that are like, the thing is there, it's already done, but if the backstory has been going on for a while, it's gonna override that, okay? Collapse the timeline makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Our dreams reflecting our deepest desires metaphorically. Your dream interpretation is up to you. If you think that your dreams are, metaphors of your deepest desires, and that's what you are going with. If you think a nightmare is something negative or it means this, and that's what it's going to be, but you still assign your meanings to your dreams. I mean, me personally with dreams, I've had so many precognitive dreams, and I've had so many dreams that just literally mean nothing. Like most of my dreams are just kind of like a bunch of nothingness. They're fun and they're random and they're cool as shit, but they're just so fucking random. I'm like, okay, that doesn't have meaning. But for me, because I do consider myself intuitive, whether you want to look at it as a belief system or not. But for me, I go by intuition and knowing, right? Like I trust it more than anything that I trust in the 3D. Honestly, I trust my intuition. I trust what I call the voice. So if there's a dream that I had and I'm guided to pay attention to it, then I'm like, okay. But if I'm not, and that's just something that I intuitively sense, then I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, that dream didn't mean anything. But I don't know. Does anyone else in here experience intuition? Because if you do, you will understand what I'm talking about, where you're just guided to do something or to look at a certain thing, right? And there's no fear towards it, and then it works out the way that you were guided to, compared to if you have a backstory against something, and let's say you have a nightmare, okay, and then the backstory is going to cause fear. Oh no, the nightmare means this and blah blah blah. Now I have these subconscious things. No, if it feels negative and you're assigning that thing a negative thing, it's from a backstory. Ooh, you have always known when your friends are pregnant before they do? Oh my god, that's definitely intuition there. Hell yeah. You had a nightmare, you feel like it was a purge, then that's what it is for you, if that's what you're saying it is. Just so we don't see movement right away, it's not being done. There's always movement. There's always movement, okay? If you see it in the 3D or not, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but sometimes, the manifestation, once you start, the energy is already moving, right? Because nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. It's like the waves start molding and shape shifting, and they start condensing, they start slowing down, okay? So I just saw this vision, and it's kind of like, if you've ever Oh my God. Okay. Let's say you're shooting like a laser beam at something and the thing is supposed to like harden. The more that you shoot the laser beam, I'm seeing like a glue gun, okay? And that's how reality is kind of created. Everything is already moving, right? The particles are dancing, but the laser beam is heated up, so it's drawing those particles together and it's slowing them down and it's formulating them into mass energetically so that that timeline can, you know, converge with you that's in the 3D vessel, right? Because it has to slow down. Okay, the ethers, it has to slow down just to become matter. Okay, so it's like the more you focus on the thing, it's like it's drawing those particles together. I'm like fucking seeing this clearly, and then it like slowly starts to form, but on an energetic level, and then that's the energy that's condensed, and you are so aligned in that now your mind is in alignment. It's like, right, like it's programmed to have receptors to look for evidence of that thing because it's slowed down, and then it starts drawing those experiences to you. It could be little by little, it could be all in one shot, but it's basically like your focus on the thing condenses those waves into matter and you step into it, like you and that timeline converge. Okay, so if you're someone who wants instant manifestation, because me, I want my shit now. I want my shit, but before I even knew that I wanted my shit, okay? I like shit fast. I ain't got time to be waiting for like, no, I don't wait. And the things that I manifested the most quickly, I wasn't focused on time. I just kept moving. I just kept being in the flow, whatever the fuck. I wasn't stopping. I wasn't putting anything on hold, right? In my mind, I was just thinking the thing is already done. The thing is already done, right? So my mental focus, the thing is already done. Now it's like slowing. The thing is already done. I'm shooting laser beams in my mind. No matter what I'm doing in the 3D, I'm shooting laser beams in my mind. The thing is already done. The matter is like, okay, boom. This shit just happens. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with instantaneous shit. So, you know, a lot of motherfuckers say that they want their shit right now. They want it instantaneously. But if something literally just fell out of the sky in front of you or materialized right now, would you be okay with that? Because if you are, then, you know, go with that. But if you're more comfortable with kind of like, okay, then you would say, you know, my manifestation arrived in the perfect time and way for me. This way it doesn't kind of startle you. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, the thing can appear and you're like, wait, what? Was that a magic trick? And you kind of just like, wait, huh? You know what I mean? But for me, I like shit. I like shit instant. Okay, like, man, if I was a fucking button, I'd be fast forward. Hell yeah, that's what I do. Manifesting an old friend, just to affirm that you are friends. Well, don't refer to them as an old friend. Say my friend right now, and say, you know, that you have such a great relationship with them. You guys have so much to talk about. You have so much fun together. You really like my vids. Thank you. I live as if my SP is here and at home in certain ways. It feels natural. Yeah, then that's it. You're living in the end, Jasmine, if that's what you're doing. SJ, do you do robotic affirmations to get it fast? That's a laser beam. Yes. I mean, if you want to call it robotic affirmations, yes, just a centered focus. What do you think about tarot readings? Candy, I think if you want to get a tarot reading, or if anyone wants to get a tarot reading, I don't see an issue with that. You know, if you're into that, but the reader and the reading is still only going to reflect that which you are bringing into the equation. You know what I mean? It's still going to be based off of your beliefs. Can you manifest losing weight in a couple of months, like 80 pounds? Yeah, you can manifest anything. So you're just going to start saying whatever your ideal weight is For this, I would also recommend mirror work. With anything that's like body or health related, I recommend looking in the mirror, okay? And not looking at things that you perceive as a flaw, but looking at it as how you want it to be. And also, if you can't visualize, you would still look in the mirror, but then you would maybe, I don't know, if you want to have like straighter teeth or something, you would smile in the mirror. I know how this sounds. And then you would just say, I'm so happy that my teeth are perfectly straight, or whatever the issue is. Okay, what books can you recommend for manifestation? Well, the Bible is a really good one. The Bible is a super manifesting manual. I also like the Kybalion. I like Ramtha, the White Book, which is by J.Z. Knight. I like The God Academy by Angelica Crystal Powers. Neville Goddard, of course, he has good books. Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It. I would do maybe the Neville Goddard Complete Reader. I haven't read Joe Dispenza's books, but I've heard like lectures from them online. Those might be good. I haven't read Greg Braden's books, but I've heard his lectures online, and that's kind of like some stuff too about creating reality. Love you too. You can think about anyone in just a minute or a few days you see their text, but not with SP. It's likely because you have a backstory about your SP and you don't have a backstory about these people. If you have a story about them, then that's why everyone else is conforming and they're not, because it's a specific story with them. Or maybe a specific story in general, like, oh, I can have anyone I want aside from the one that I want. So it's something of those natures. Dimension. How do you start thinking in your favor? Start monitoring your thoughts. In the beginning, like take time to really look at how you're thinking about things. And if you notice that there's more unfavorable thoughts, you're gonna tweak them in the moment, and you're gonna say, no, we're not thinking like that today. Oh, nothing's happening, there's no movement. There's movement happening, I might not see it. You had to hold yourself accountable. No one else is responsible for your thoughts but you. No one else is making you think a certain way. If you have the control of what goes on in your mind, why would you allow filthy thoughts to infiltrate your psyche? That's what I say about that. Oh, Thais, you discovered my YouTube channel. I love it. Oh, thank you so much. I'm your favorite manifestation channel. I love it. I'm glad you enjoy the content. How do you get rid of the backstory? For getting rid of a backstory, I recommend robotic affirmations. Robotic affirmations. So whatever the backstory is, you're going to choose a statement that directly contradicts that, such as nothing always works out for you. You're going to say everything always works out for me. Perfectly, better than I expect. You're going to robotically affirm that. My YouTube is linked in my bio. It's the same, it's the same username as on here. Pep talks always come on time. Hell yeah, SJ. Glad you're enjoying the content. Oh, oh, I'm the only one that's ever said your name right. Oh my God. Okay, well, I'm glad that we're in resonance with that. I don't even know how long I've been talking. It's probably been like 2 hours. The live that I did the other day, I thought I was talking for a little over an hour, and it was like 2.5 hours. I was like, what? Aw, time to sleep. I love this. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us here. How can you learn to visualize? I mean, listen, you don't need to visualize to manifest what you want, but what can help sometimes is like looking at pictures. So if it's an SP, if you have a picture of them, or if it's like a particular house that you want to buy, look at pictures in the neighborhood and just start saying, I'm so happy that I'm living in this home, in this neighborhood. I would look at pictures online and then maybe see that picture and then close your eyes and see the picture that you just saw, but only with your eyes closed, and see if you can recall it to memory and continue practicing that way. Oh, Dimension, glad you're enjoying. You talked to a photo of SP. Hell yeah, I mean, if that's what works for you, by all means. Aw, thank you. You really enjoyed the live. If you're manifesting an SP and something happens that makes you not want him anymore, I mean, you assign the meaning of that thing happening and why it happened. So it sounds like something happened that was neutral and you assigned the meaning, okay, I don't want him anymore. And that's coming from, a story about you. Like, did you feel like you were disrespected? Then that's coming from a story. Did you feel like he did something dumb? That's coming from another story. And if you're going with the story that this thing happened and now I don't want him, then that's what it is. Woo! What can you do if everything is against you in your 3D with your SP? That's a story. You're saying that everything is against you in the 3D. Nothing is against you unless you say it is. Everything always goes my way. I am the only one. My life is perfect. Everything is smooth and easy for me. You're welcome. Yes, definitely. Give everything good meaning. I mean, you have to give everything a good meaning. Well, you don't have to technically, but it would serve you more to give things a good meaning than a shit meaning. Should you take action or not take action? If it's an inspired action, you're not going to have to think about it, and you're just going to be guided to do that. So those are the actions, that are just going to happen, which I recommend just following that. But as far as what you want to do, I don't know how you're going to feel if you want to do something and what happens. Are you doing it for a particular outcome? Are you doing it to try to manipulate the 3D? Or are you doing it because you genuinely don't care about the outcome? Because if you genuinely you just want to take action and you don't care what might or might not come of it, then sure, why not? But if you're doing it with some undercurrent of like, okay, I want to see if this is going to move something, or if I'm going to get a reaction or a response, then that's not the best reason, You find it hard to control your visualizations when you're listening to music, then you don't have to listen to music unless you like not controlling your visuals. Because sometimes, like, I just see visuals and I just go with it. I'm like, okay. And then, at this point, they're like favorable ones. I'm just like, all right, yeah, let's go with that. So if you're in a good place where it's uncontrollable visuals, but they're good, in your opinion, there's no good or bad, but I had to say that, then I would say go with it. But if you want like a controlled thing and you feel like the music is kind of, fucking that up for you, then you don't need to listen to music. There's no cookie cutter solution of what anyone should or shouldn't do with this, How would you get someone out of your reality? You wouldn't focus on them being there. You'd say, whew, I don't know what happened to them, but I'm glad they're in a better place now. They're already done. They're gone from here. Like, who is that? I've done that before, like, without even knowing what it was. Like, I remember if there was someone that I was just like, okay, whatever, and like motherfuckers would bring up that person, I would just not say anything. Like, this is before I even knew about conscious manifestation. They'd be like, oh yeah, so-and-so. And I'm like, huh? Like, and I would just I would ignore it. And like, motherfuckers were like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like that motherfucker just doesn't exist. I'm like, no, they don't exist. Not in my reality. So why am I even going to acknowledge them? I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm just, who? Whew. You must be mistaken. I don't know anyone by that name. That's what I would do. Yeah, if you say they don't exist, that's perfect. Like, who? I don't know who that is, man. Um, Pure theta waves and subliminals. I love listening to theta waves and binaural beats. Subliminals, I don't really listen to. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't really know if there's like something in that for me. I have heard people say that they listen to subliminals and they really liked it. And then some are just like, no, like, I don't like it. It was like, it creeped them out or whatever. So if you're listening to subliminals and theta waves or whatever, and you feel good doing it and it's bringing you calm and peace in the moment, then you can continue. But it's like nothing is making your manifestation happen or not happen. It's just, as long as you don't contradict the thing, it's unfolding. So you don't need to do anything. You're welcome. Oh, theta waves made you jittery? Yeah, I mean, if they weren't for you, then that's it. With my million drinks over here. Oh, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone has their own truth. You know what I mean? But if you don't agree with something that I say, don't listen to me. I'm not God of your experience. You're God of your experience. You know what I mean? But what I say about this manifestation, anything, is that what you assume to be true and what you dominantly focus on is going to manifest. That's it. And it doesn't matter who perceives it as good or right or wrong or what technique, or it doesn't matter. What do you want? Just don't contradict the thing that you say you want. Don't waver. Don't look at time and just say it's done now. I don't know how, but it's done now. I don't know how, but it's done now. I don't know how, but it's done motherfucking now. Ooh, you got your red wine. Ooh, I was having red wine earlier. If you affirmed you wanted to sit back and receive what the 3D is demanding action, should you ignore it? I mean, that's up to you. Everyone's situation is different. But I will tell you this, the 3D can't demand anything from you unless you agree to it. So if you don't want to do any action, you can say, oh, whatever circumstance that was in the 3D that popped up is now dissolved. I don't need to do shit. It's now dissolved perfectly, peacefully away from me. Bye-bye. It really depends on you, though. Does thought transmission work instantly? Yes, it works instantly. But the reason why sometimes the thought transmission takes time to play out is, honestly, I don't have an answer for that, okay? The thing that I can tell you, because there's no fact that I can say, the things that I personally have noticed is if a thought transmission, like if you're sending someone a message, call me, and it doesn't happen, it's not that they're not receiving the message, it's just that there's, I don't know, like they might be thinking it, and let's say they don't take action because you had a story about them going on in the background that they're not the type to call you, they only text you, right? So then that could be part of it, like overriding the call me, or you're saying call me, but then you're thinking, is this even working? Like, you know what I mean? So if you have an underlying belief against that, yes, they could be receiving it, okay? And then they're like, call. I feel like calling them. I don't know why, but then because you have the underlying belief that they don't call you, that they prefer to text, and they're like, nah, I'm not going to call. Or you might be so like intent, like, is it working? Is it working? Call me. Is it working? Call me. Is it working? That's already conflicting energy. So they might be thinking that. And then you get a call the next day when you find like, oh shit, it didn't work. Like, I tried, and then boom, they call you. And then they tell you, listen, it was so weird. Yesterday, I just kept thinking about calling you, and I don't know what that was. But you blocked it, theoretically speaking, because you had an underlying belief that they wouldn't call you. But then when you dropped the entire thing together, you freed up all that energy, including the belief and the command. And then it was like a free channel, okay? Not that they didn't get it instantly, but they responded in a way that seemed not instant. Okay. And that's like the best explanation I can give you, because I really don't have, like, there's no set answer to that, okay? Because it's like, you know, they are receiving that. I can promise you they're receiving it in the moment, but whether or not you're going to receive a response back in that moment, you know, I don't know. And no one really can know. You might get an instant response or you might not. Things happen in ways you don't know of. Yeah, I agree. And to be like quite frank, I don't even care. As long as it's delivered to me perfectly, better than I expect, I don't care the how. What's your perspective about wanting nothing attracts everything? I mean, I think that's another like cliche spiritual saying, because at the end of the day, if you want something and that's your focus, you know, even if you're looking at it from a place of like, I want it, I want it, I want it, it is kind of coming from a place of lack. So you might be putting all of that energy into that, but then at the same time saying, oh, but I don't have it. Is this working? Right? That'll slow it down. Or you're just saying, yeah, I want this. It'd be nice if I could have that. You're still saying you want it because it's really semantics and it doesn't matter. But you just kind of like, you know what, whatever. It's happening. It'll happen when it happens. And then it's like you can want the thing and be aware of not having it, and the thing can still come, but it's like your overarching energy of that entire thing. Like, are you like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen? Or are you like, yeah, I want that. It's done. I mean, it'd be nice to have it now, but you know what? I'm going to move on through my day. So you can still want it, but you're not super attached to the outcome. Just affirm things happen unexpectedly. That shit happens. Hell yeah. That's amazing. With the thought transmission, first off, if you have a backstory with the person, I don't know if you're going to have a backstory with the person, but you know, if we think about it, like we're always having thought transmission. It's just how we receive the information and, you know, when it's computed into like, okay, you know, when we take action on it, but it's really always going on. So it could be that maybe someone just snaps in the fucking moment and you're like, what just happened? But they were receiving all of these energetic thoughts from like, okay, if you have a coworker that you really don't like, okay, you never said shit to them because you don't like them, you don't care to talk to them, but you're just like inner eye rolling every time you pass by or whatever the case, and you're just annoyed. You're like, I can't stand this motherfucker, oh my god. And then like this goes on for a while. They're getting that all the time, okay, but for whatever reason, out of nowhere they just snap. It's because it built up, and then they just snap at you, and you're like, well, where did that even come from? It came from your thoughts about them that they were getting. But when the thing occurs in the 3D, you know, that's really, I don't have an answer for that. I don't think anyone has an answer of when does thought transmission play out. We can only speculate. So that's my speculation on it. If you keep bombarding someone with thoughts, and even if it looks like there's nothing happening, they're still sensing it on an energetic level. And when it plays out just like it could be the opposite. Like you could be in no contact with SP for like 6 years, and then all of a sudden you're just like, they're in love with me, they're still in love with me, they're obsessed with me, they can't live without me. Maybe it takes a month for them to like reach out to you, but they were getting it the whole time. And I've especially seen this with SPs, okay? I've experienced this with different individuals where it's like the thought transmission is happening, and I'll find out later that it was happening the whole time, even when there was nothing going on in the 3D. Is manifesting on a time crunch effective? I mean, personally, I just like to say the thing is done now, but if you do want to set a time, then you need to set the time and forget it, and not, you know, keep looking, where is it, right? Because if you said, oh, it'll happen by then, and then you just move about your business, you're just not revisiting it, right? You left it where it was. Okay, it'll happen by then. Case closed, goodbye. But then you're reopening it every time you say, oh, but where is it? Oh, but where is it? So if you want to manifest on a time crunch, you got to set it and let it go, in my opinion. So my phone battery is on 12%, which means I was probably talking for a fucking while, and that's fine. Oh, I always think, how many times have we thought I need to message that person but haven't yet? Yeah, like sometimes, that's a good point because, I mean, even, okay, right? And this is, I'm gonna like leave off on this because my phone needs to be charged, but like even we're creator of our experience, right? So even if someone, because it's constant, right? All things are connected. So if someone is bombarding us with like thought transmissions, okay, how we're interpreting that is specific to us, but it doesn't mean that we're not receiving the energy of that person, right? Because if that's always going on, but it's up to us as the interpreter to be like, okay, this person's on my mind. What does that mean? And if this is why you can get the ick from someone, right? If you know that someone really wants you and they're not your type and you have no interest in them, someone really wants you and they're not your type and you have no interest in them, you kind of get like the ick, right? Because they're sending you these thoughts and it's desperate, needy. Why don't they want me? Why don't they want me? So then you're getting, well, why don't I want them? Because they're giving me the ick, right? You see? So it works different ways, it works both ways between you and the person, but you're still the one that as God is interpreting, like, okay, I'm interpreting this just like you interpret your desire. I want to go to Tahiti tomorrow, whatever, all expenses paid. Your God source sees it, but you have to interpret it as a thought, but you're the creator, so you're assigning a meaning. So you're getting this sensation from someone, I don't really like them, but they're sending that to you through the thought transmission. Then you're interpreting, saying, oh, I don't want to be with them. They're giving me the ick because they're thinking, why doesn't this person want to be with me? Why don't they respond to my text messages? If someone keeps coming to your mind for no reason, is it possible they are sending the thoughts? I mean, that's your interpretation too. If someone keeps coming into your mind, then they might be sending you thoughts, but really, what are you thinking about them? Because here, this is gonna be the last question, but in regards to thought transmission, okay, it's always happening. It's happening both ways but you are the only observer. You are the only assigner of meaning in your reality, right? But someone can send you thoughts if you want to think about it, but you're still interpreting how you want to receive that, right? It's like something happens in the 3D and then you're interpreting, okay, that happened in the 3D, it's energy, it's there, how do I want to assign this? Okay, cool. Now the thing with if someone keeps coming into your mind, first, I'd recommend to differentiate if it's you or if it's them. Because sometimes when, like, you're in love with someone or whatever, you're constantly thinking about them, right? So that is likely coming from you. But if you're just randomly minding your business and then someone just pops up into your mind, you weren't thinking about them, it's still your meaning to assign it, but more likely it's like they're thinking of you because they were nowhere in your sphere. And then all of a sudden they thought of you, they sent that to you, but you were minding your business. So there's like a difference. And again, that's just my opinion because, how does thought transmission actually work? I don't know. I can just tell you by what I have experienced. Exactly. So if someone else is sending you thoughts, you're still the interpreter of what those thoughts mean. Just like anything in the 3D, right? Like you're receiving the signal, but you're deciding, okay, 3D, this happened. Well, is it bad? Is it good? Is it neutral? Just like you feel someone's thoughts on you. Are they thinking about me? Maybe they need my help, or, oh, where did they get here? Oh, I used to know them from a while back. That's weird. Like, it doesn't, they'll always randomly pop in your head. Well, you could also, but see, here's the other thing. You could also look at it is that you're manifesting them. If someone randomly pops into your head, it's like, oh, they're there. And then your focus on them in that second, had them manifest, right? So if you're thinking of them, they aren't necessarily thinking of you. If you're thinking of them, it's like they're standing in front of you, but you would be the initiator because you are actively thinking of them. And maybe in that moment they had their back turned, but you decided to tap into their channel. So now it's like energetically they had to turn and look at you. Okay? Because you're summoning their energy. I mean, this is a lot of trippy shit with the thought transmission, because I've experienced so many weird things with it. The only thing I can say is that if someone randomly pops up into your mind and you really, if you want to interpret that they were thinking of you for whatever reason, that is the reason. But in my opinion, you are still receptive to other energies, which is why you could get a vibe. Like if you've ever, and this is, maybe it's not manifestation or maybe it isn't, but if you've ever been to a place that like was haunted or something, okay, I don't know how many you actually had, but there have been instances where I've been to places I'm like, whoa, the energy is weird here. Yes, that was my interpretation, but I was also getting an immediate input, and it was like a sensation of knowing. So if someone randomly pops into your mind and you're like, oh, maybe they're thinking of me. Okay, who cares? But if someone randomly pops into your mind and you just know with conviction, oh, they're thinking about me, I'm going to hear from them, that's it. But knowing is not thinking. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like a process. Like someone's energy pops up. Whoa, they're thinking about me. You're not going to question if they're thinking about you. But if you are actively pursuing to think of someone, right, especially from a conscious manifestation perspective, you are now summoning their energy, because it's like God is summoning its creation, and the creation was turned the back, right? But then God put the spotlight on and said, I summon you, and whatever you think about them, you're actively doing that. Now it's like they turn to face you and they're receiving it. At least that's my perspective of it. But, in terms of like the intuition thing, where if you just sense a knowing of someone, and then you're like, oh, they're going to surface somehow. That was just like a desire was given to you. Oh, you want to go to Tahiti. Here's the idea. Okay, like it's known. Like your God source is already in alignment with it. That's why the thing was created. You thought of them, right? And then it happened in the 3D because it already happened ethereally, and your God self is giving you the signal like, oh, you're going to hear from this motherfucker. But it's going to process differently, like a knowing. And I can't describe it other than that. Like when you know something, and I know all of you have had instances of that. So that would be the difference. You're welcome. All right, well, my phone is on 7%, so thank you all for the likes, for the comments, for the gifts, for sharing. Thank you all for the conversation. And this will be on YouTube at some point. So, oh, thanks for the rose. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever is going on in your realm. Have a good time, and we will talk soon.